This is a Webster on a trampoline, and a lot of people who are good at Websters say that you shouldn't train Websters on a trampoline or that it can't help you if you learn Websters on a trampoline, but I disagree, and I don't care, because this video was requested by one of my patrons, Kat. If you also want to become a patron and support my videos and get priority video requests, then sign up down below. Trampoline can be a great teaching tool to teach you the form for Webster or other tricks. It can also help you understand progressions, and it's also just fun to do tricks on the trampoline, so like, get over yourself. So whether you want to do this kind of Webster or this kind of Webster, I've got you covered. So there's two different ways that you can approach this, and I would recommend doing both to just see which one you like the best. The first method is from a front flip. So just bounce, do a front flip, warm up your front flips. If you don't know how to do a front flip, then I'm gonna come out with a tutorial for it eventually, but I don't have one right now, so just Google how to do a front flip on a trampoline. You'll find a video. Or you know what? Here's a quick tutorial. Do a forward roll, bounce, do a forward roll, land on your feet. You're done. I do want to mention that you should probably stretch your hamstrings or at least do some like kickbacks like this so that you don't pull something, because if you pull a muscle, especially your hamstring, it's pretty large. You'll probably be out for a couple days to a couple weeks. So definitely like warm up and stretch for like 5 minutes before you start this, because especially if you axe to Webster, you're gonna have to stretch a lot. Great, now that you have a front flip, just do your front flip relatively high. It doesn't have to be amazing. I'm gonna do everything in this video kind of low so that I stay in frame, but you can bounce as high as you want to. Just practice your front flip until it feels really comfortable, and then we'll move on. Now all you're gonna do is start splitting your legs when you are doing your front flip. So you wanna think about which foot you're gonna actually kick back for your Webster. If you twist to your left, then generally you're gonna kick back with your right foot, because if you kick with your right foot and then you twist to your left, then that's gonna be an aerial twist. If you were going to kick back with your left foot and then you twist to your left, then that's gonna be like a cheat 720 twist or something like adjacent. But you might wanna train it on both sides because you can use it to get a rise. Video right there if you wanna check that out. Honestly, just get it on both sides. But for now, since we're focusing on Webster, kick back with your right foot if you twist to your left. So since we're kicking our right foot back, then what you're gonna do is you're going to front flip and try to land with your right foot slightly before your left. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, you're just like landing split footed. Then you're gonna slowly unwind that. So you just start kicking backwards more and more with your right hamstrings, you pull backwards and you start to arch your back just slightly, really just from your pelvis down needs to stretch. Like you don't really have to, stretch your upper body that much yet. And then just try to keep practicing that until you can kind of keep your left foot in the air for a good bit when you're coming down. So you really land on your right foot before you land on your left. Your left is like kind of up in the air and then you step down on it. Something that can help is kind of getting a little bit of forward momentum into this bounce instead of just bouncing up and down, because it will really help you pull your legs over for a Webster. Once you got that, you want to start making it feel kind of like a front layout or a front whip. So the easiest way to do that is to spot the trampoline and just look at it for as long as possible as you front flip. So you can do this with your feet together, or you can do this split-footed, which I would recommend just doing it split-footed since that is, the feeling we're going for. But if you want to do it with your feet together to kind of get the feeling first, then go for it. Either way, the first time you do this, it's gonna be terrifying. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's gonna be super scary. Just punch hard on the trampoline, make sure you have a lot of power, and just, have faith in yourself and kick all the way over. If you land on your back or something, it's a trampoline, big whoop. This is gonna force you to arch your back a lot, so make sure you have at least stretched a little bit of an arch. You could like praise the sun like me. From there, start trying to split your feet at the beginning. So you're still kind of doing like a punch front, but you just start with your left leg in front and your right leg back. Obviously, this is if we're twisting to our left. If you twist to your other side, just go to the other side, you know what I'm saying? So just bounce a little bit with split legs, and then punch front with split legs, and land with split legs, and then technically you're kind of doing a Webster right there. To make it a little more Webster-y, all you gotta do is kind of like give it a little more of a lunge into it, or like a bouncing forward motion. Just make sure there's enough space on your trampoline so you don't run out of room. But you just kind of like hop forward slightly, and then you're gonna try and land on your right foot before you land on your left foot for the bounce. So you kind of jump right, left, and then you do that front flip, and then you're doing a Webster. From there, it's hard to get that like Webster feeling on the trampoline with this technique, but if you want to, you can try and put your chest down and really like Webster it and kick as hard as you can over when you're doing this, and then you got yourself a Webster on the trampoline. Just be aware that we're on a trampoline, and so if you don't have any bounce whatsoever, your head's just gonna be really close to the ground and you're just gonna slam on your back. You need to have a little bit of upwards to downwards momentum because it's a flexible surface we're on. From there, you can just kind of like bounce on one foot, like gently. Don't bounce very high or else you'll probably blow your knee out, but bounce on one foot a little bit and then start to axe that leg up and down a little bit. Just raise it a slight bit it and then kind of just do like a punch front off of one leg and try to land split-legged if you can. Once you can do kind of like a punch one-footed front flip with like a split landing, then you just got to swing your leg a little bit more. You can do it kind of like standing up, sort of like a front flip, but I personally don't like that aesthetic for Websters. So you want to start putting your chest down. It's going to feel super weird, and this is specifically why we wanted to stretch our hammies earlier. So make sure your hamstrings are stretched out, and then you want to throw your arms backwards. It's like a Russian front flip. So you're going to get a little bounce on one foot. You're going to swing your arms back really hard. You're going to swing your right leg back really hard, and then try to keep that left leg as straight as humanly possible with a slight knee bend so you don't hyperextend and hurt yourself. Kick over, arch your back, land on that right foot, and you got yourself an axe to Webster on the trampoline, or you've already had a Webster a couple steps ago on the trampoline. If this method doesn't work for some reason, or you just don't like it, you can start from the beginning with an axe to Webster. And this is kind of like the lazy way at the beginning, but then the harder way later on. Personally, I like to do the front flip way, but you can totally do the axe way the whole time. So you're gonna start off by just like kicking over your head, almost essentially doing an axe to forward roll. You just stand there, swing your right leg, and then roll over and kind of like plop down on your back and your butt. That's why it's kind of the lazy way at the beginning. Then you're gonna slowly just try to like stand up a little bit more and arch your back a little bit more. This is like a really simple, like self-explanatory way, but like, hey, this is a tutorial. You're gonna axe and you're gonna try and focus on never letting your left leg touch the ground. So you take off of that left leg, and then once you kick over, you keep that left leg up. You can hold on to it. You can just like lift it up with your quads, whatever you need to do. You're just gonna try and land with that right leg first, keeping that left leg up. If you're doing this tucked, you're gonna know because you're gonna land kind of like on your butt with your head up. If you're doing this properly, you're gonna know because you're landing with your head back and you're kind of like landing laying down essentially. You hit your foot and then you lay down. Your goal is to hit your right foot before your back touches. So you hit your right foot and then you kind of lay down. Really try and push your hips forward on this, and it'll help you like with the posture on all of these other than like the front flip itself at the beginning. From there, your goal is to just stand up more and more on that left leg. You're gonna need a little bit of bounce, like there's no way around it. If you don't bounce, you're never gonna be able to go up. You're gonna have your head super close to the ground or on the ground no matter how hard you kick. So what you wanna do is you wanna take a step in, you wanna bounce up, you wanna bring that right leg up, and then you wanna bounce one time as you axe kick through and then kick on down. Or like kick back and then up and then down. Once you have that part mastered, just start swinging harder and harder. Keep a slight knee bend in that left leg just so that you're safe. Kick over, stretch your hamstrings, and hopefully you'll get your Webster over time if you just train it over and over and over again. You can definitely do like axe to front handspring or something, but personally on the trampoline, I don't have enough room. Even though it looks like my trampoline is big, it's just because of the wide angle lens. My trampoline is pretty big, but it's not like big enough for me to do a full reached out forward front handspring. So I have to reach like straight down as I axe kick for a front handspring, and then my hands don't really do much. I just kind of push. But even then, even when I have a bad reach, you can see that once I plant my hands, I have to kind of push through my shoulders, and then the mobility of like my hips going over is the same as Webster. So it can give you that feeling, but there's a lot of force that I'm using to like push through my arms, even if they're bent. And so it doesn't really feel as much like a Webster as if you were like doing it on the ground or something. But that's totally a valid way to do it. I just don't think it's like super efficient on the trampoline, that is. And that's it. I hope you have fun learning and or just practicing a Webster on the trampoline. Please hit the like button to support this video. Please sign up for my Patreon because I really like making videos for you guys, and that will help me out a ton. Plus I have a Discord only for patrons, and I have a bunch of other perks on my Patreon. You can check it out for yourself. I'm sure you've already clicked the link. Now that you know how to do a Webster on the trampoline, click here to learn it on the ground, and click here to learn a Raiz on the trampoline. And if you've watched this far, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, genuinely.